Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to tackle a topic that a lot of us think about, but let's be honest, it can feel a little intimidating prayer. So, if you've ever felt like you're not sure where to even start, this simple guide is for you. Let's dive in. Does this feel familiar? For so many people, the whole idea of prayer just feels like a performance. Like, am I doing this right? What am I even supposed to say? It feels like there's this big, complicated rule book that you somehow missed. But what if it's not that complicated at all? So let's just reframe this whole thing. At its absolute core, prayer is just a conversation. That's it. It's not some formal speech or a rigid ceremony. It's about connection. The moment you strip away all that complexity, it suddenly feels a whole lot more doable, right? And that leads us to maybe the single biggest mindset shift you can make. The goal isn't just about getting a list of things you want. It's about building a relationship. Let's unpack what that really looks like. I absolutely love this analogy. Think about it. A vending machine is totally transactional, right? You put a coin in, you get a snack out. It's impersonal. But framing prayer as a conversation with a loving father, well, that changes everything. It becomes about trust and sharing and listening, all the stuff that makes a connection real. And here's where you can really see the difference side by side. On one hand, you have the wish list approach. It's all about, I want this, give me that. It's a one-way street. But then you look at the relationship approach, and it's a two-way conversation. It's full of gratitude, praise, and this desire to connect with something bigger than just our own wants. Okay, so that's the mindset. It makes sense. But practically speaking, where do you start? If this is a conversation, what are the opening lines? Let's look at two really simple steps to get you going. Here they are, two simple but really powerful starting points. First, before you ask for a single thing, just start with gratitude. Seriously, just acknowledging the good things in your life completely changes your perspective. And then, step 2 is about getting honest. It's about acknowledging where you've messed up and asking for forgiveness. It just clears the air and sets an honest foundation for everything else. So you've had that first conversation. Awesome. But how do you keep it going? How do you turn this into a real, consistent practice? Well, here are a few practical tips that can help. Let's just walk through these, because they're super helpful. First, find a quiet place. It's pretty hard to have a deep conversation when your phone is buzzing and the TV is on. Second, just be you. Use your own words. Speak from the heart. And hey, you can be specific about your needs, for sure, but also try to stay open about how the answer might show up. And this last one is crucial. Don't do all the talking. Leave some space to just listen. And this is so important, because sometimes prayer can feel like you're just speaking into a void. This idea of persistence, of continuing to ask, seek, and knock, is really about faith. It's about trusting that you are being heard, even when the answer isn't immediate or obvious. It's about not giving up on the conversation. Now, the approach we've been talking about is rooted in a specific tradition, but it's really cool to see how this desire for a divine connection is pretty universal. So let's zoom out for a second and look at a few different paths to prayer. Yeah, you can see here that different traditions have their own unique focus. In Christianity, you see those elements we've talked about: adoration, confession, thanksgiving. In some Hindu practices, like Manasa Puja, it's about mental worship, visualizing offerings. And then, in some types of meditation, it's about using mental energy to visualize an outcome. The methods might look different, but that core idea of focused connection, it's there. So, when you bring it all together, what makes prayer, well, effective? Looking across these different perspectives, you start to see these common threads. It really seems to be this mix of humility, faith that you're being heard, and the persistence to just keep the conversation going, all with the goal of connecting to a higher purpose. And that's our look at getting started with prayer. So the real question now is, what does this mean for you? If you were to just strip away all the pressure and just start a simple, honest conversation, what would it even be about? Thanks for watching.